Says we're streaming on. Oh, I am live. Sweet. Look at that. Sweet. Should we try Insta? I don't think I have Instagram set up. I'm so running close to time here. Oh, I can't do that channel. Oh, let's do it. All right. So I'm using my Suno for the music, and of course we're going to turn that off the second I go on Amazon Live. But I wanted a little bit of mood music while you guys are rocking out. And we're on TikTok Live. I don't know how well that's going to do, but that's okay. We got 6 minutes, 10 seconds left. I got some deals here, and I need to make sure that they're all on. A couple minutes here. If you got any questions, feel free to ask them. I'll try and answer them. If there's something that you want me to look at, let me know. 5 minutes left. Started here. And I'm streaming, just so you know, I'm streaming on Restream, and I do have a link. If you go to, I think it's geekazine.com/Restream, you can sign yourself up to do this, which is, it's a lot of fun. You know, I'm actually streaming to multiple services right now, and I don't have to, I'm always concerned about my bandwidth, because, you know, unfortunately I'm not in a fiber area. So let's do that later. Let's do that. Put this in the list. 4 minutes, 16 seconds. So feel free to ask. We're going to talk. We're going to have stories. We're going to have fun. We're going to have almost 40 products to talk about, and some great deals here. Oh, that's an old version of me. Those toners, they have a newer version, but these are really great too. The ViewSonic I have here, so. Oh, that's the, yeah, that's that. I will have to call up that video. 3 minutes. Let's see, I'm almost there. I'm almost there. Ooh, can I make it? I'm very close. That's what I wanted to talk about, the tablets. Almost there. Alright, got 22 seconds. Forgot to grab that. Dang it. It's over there. Stop it. We're almost there. 2 minutes. Let's go live on AMS, which means I gotta stop that. Alright, let's stop that. There we go. Turn that off. There we go. We got a minute 41, and I'm doing some last second changes here. How you doing, Amazon people? We got some deals going. I hope you are enjoying the day. The Prime Day deals that are everywhere. The air conditioner just kicked in, so hopefully that's not going to be noisy. I don't think it's ever been noisy, but we'll see. We'll see. Let me know. And go ahead and say hi. And wow, I did it all. Good for me. Good job, me. Amazon Shop Fire Tablet. I forgot to put the Fire Tablet in the thing here. I might just have to get a new Fire Tablet. Look at that price. Holy Moses on a stick. Let's put that up here. We're gonna go over here really quick and add. We got 39 seconds left. Add the stream. Edit. Right about there. Yeah, that sounds good. That looks good. All right, let's return back to live stream. We got 8 seconds. 8 seconds. Look at that. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. Hello. Unmute and say hi. So this is the general show today that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to make sure that I got audio here. Hold on. Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you? There we go. Look at that sound. That's all awesome. So this is the general show today. We're going to have a couple unboxings today as we go on this Prime Day. I hope you guys are having a great Prime Day. I hope you're finding the cool stuff. But then I hope you're finding the cool stuff from me now, because the cool stuff from me is here and it's now. So go ahead, say hi in the chats. Over at YouTube, over at, I'm just going to check my YouTube really quick, over at Amazon, over at, where else am I on? Am I on? There I am, right there. Look at that. So, let's see, yeah, we're going to hit that button. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. So here we go. You're here, I'm here. Hello. I'm going to say hello from one of my other channels. All right, let's switch it over. Oops, wrong one. Switch. There we go. Welcome, 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 welcome. Hello. Whoa, wow, I spelled that wrong. All right, welcome to Prime Day. Okay, now I'm ready. Now I am ready. So I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope you're finding some cool deals. If not, I've got some great deals for you. And we're going to start hot and heavy. We're going to go through the list, like 40, hopefully in an hour, and not go too long, because I got a ton of things to do today. Of course, it never fails that you set up for something and then work happens. It happens. So anyway, hope you're having a great day. Feel free to follow me over at amazon.com/shop/Geekazine. Just Geekazine. If you search Geekazine online, you'll find me wherever you are, and that's where that is. So, all right. Today we're going to talk about a few things, but first of all, if you go over to Amazon.com, first of all, if you go over in the live area, you go to Amazon, you'll see the live streams. There I am right now. I don't know, am I competing with anybody right now? It doesn't look like it. So it's just me. Look at me, it's just me. Anyway, oh no, Dragon Blogger's on live right now. So here we go. But if you go over to Amazon.com/shop/Geekazine, that's not what you'll see. This is what you'll see. And right here, Prime Day 2025. You click on that, and boom, this is everything we're going to talk about, and then some. And this list is going to grow in the next 4 days. And I just realized that, yeah, I'm off kilter on that shot. So let me fix that really quick. Because, I can't have that happen. No, that's not right. That's not right. Nope. Do that. Silly me. Let's do that. Huh. Well, that's interesting. Well, then we'll just do that. Oops. There we go. Now I'm center. All right. Here we are. So if you go to Amazon.com/shop/Geekazine, and then you go to the Prime Day 2025 deals, that is where I am. That is where you'll see all these great deals that we're going to be talking about today. So feel free to jump in and ask questions. Feel free to throw a like or a love or a heart or anything like that. We hit about 22,000 last time we were on live stream, and that was because somebody showed up and started hitting the button. So let's see how many we can get. So definitely show up and say hi. But we're gonna start. Let's get started here. Talk about the deals now. The first deal, I've been a big fan of OBSBot for a very, very long time, and these things are awesome because these are small. These are powerful. They're compact. Let me just do this really quick. Do not disturb for an hour. There we go. Perfect. And these are fantabuloso. Fantabuloso. Let's see if I got this good. There we go. We got it all queued up. It looks so dark. Why does it look so dark? Boom. There, it's light. Okay, this is the OBSBot Tail Air. Now they have several different versions of cameras here, but this is above the webcam. In fact, we're going to be talking about the Tiny SE shortly. But this is the webcam you usually will buy for your computer to put over on your monitor, so you can do your Zoom calls or anything like that. So this is the great start, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. This is if you're doing some live stream stuff and you don't want to have the computer nearby. Maybe you're a musician. You want to, you have a solo acoustic show and you want to live stream or you want to record the set. That's where a camera like this comes in because it's totally self-sufficient. It's got a battery inside. The battery usually lasts about an hour and a half. Not plugged in at an event. And then, of course, it's got that whole ability to go up, down, left, right, round, round. And it does it through the OBSBot app. In fact, I will call that up really quick. And this is the OBSBot Start app. And it's not going to find any cameras because I don't have it turned on. But we'll go ahead and turn it on. This has got a full charge to it. You might see that right there. If not, we will do this and zoom in a little bit so you can see it. So I think it turned. Oh, I forgot. I didn't hold it down long enough. So there we go. It's turning itself on. And when that happens, it's going to find itself in the cameras here. Once I rescan. Here we go. And there we are. So I can stream. We'll just we'll do that. And then I will choose where I want to live stream. It's basically my Wi-Fi, but I can definitely do the cellular. And then what it does is it connects to the Tail Air. There's also a remote you can get. There we go. There it is right there. I can control it from here. So as you can see, if I do this, there we go. It'll turn back and forth. And right now it's super zoomed in. So I'm going to zoom this back out Like that. There we go. So if you were to see the video, this is what you see. In fact, I could then send it off into my switcher right here. Really easy peasy. But the best part about this is I can do this to set it up for, like, for instance, let's say I am doing an acoustic show or something like that, or talking at an event. I get this. You don't have to get it super close, but you want to get it probably about 10 feet back, and if you don't want to zoom it in all the way, but you can do a little bit of zoom. It is an optical zoom inside of there, but it's just this amazing camera that does a whole ton of things. And it's got the tracking, AI tracking in it. So if I turn that on, and I can do that through gestures, which I don't have turned on, or you can do that through the AI, which, did I press the wrong button? Yeah, there it is. So I can set up AI to track the target if I wanted to, or I can just have it set up. I don't have it set up in there. But the other cool thing is I can go into a vertical. Oh, doing the wrong one. A vertical and a horizontal. It's if I switch it, it tells me to turn it back on. So I can't do this, and of course I got to turn off NDI mode. It does NDI, it does SRT, it does HDMI. In fact, we'll go over here. You'll see there's a micro HDMI plug right there. You have a TF card up here. We have a USB-C back here. So, and there is a plug that allows me to plug it in directly into a computer, or with a specific plug, I can plug it into my network and also receive what's called power over Ethernet. So I put this camera on stage, and then I run that, and then my network is powering this, keeping this powered to 100% while this is capturing video. And I've created a lot of great videos using this little guy right here. So it's an amazing device. It's great because, like I said, let's say your kids come this fall, your kids are going to be in a recital or a play or something like that. You can have this camera up close. You can have this actually just over people's heads like this, and you can capture the show, and then you can show it later. It's got a couple of microphones on it, so you don't have to worry about that. And then, of course, it has you can plug in a microphone from there. I don't think, is there a mic? Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, there's no microphone jack on here, but you go through USB-C, and then you can plug in a microphone from there. But anyway, this is on deal right now, 15% off at $424. So if it's originally, it's mostly $499. So a great deal for a small camera, and even comes with the case. They got a case and a couple other things there, but that case right there fits in there. You get the remote too. I highly recommend getting that OBSBot remote with it. So you get the case, and you get cables, and then of course an adapter cable if you're running USB-A instead of USB-C, and then a dual adapter. So basically it's just like USB-C out, but two USB-C ins. So one can power the camera, one could go to the computer, for example. So $424 on that. It is a great deal. And it's our first great deal of the day. Next up, let's talk about GL-iNet. And I've had GL-iNet routers for a long time. These are awesome. Why are they awesome? Because you can take them with you. These are so compact. These are so easy. And if you go to hotels, you should be running your internet through one of these boxes right here. Let me lock that focus really quick. So what it is this is a Wi-Fi 6. I started with the Slate 7, which won CES awards left and right. And I had that for a long time. That was Wi-Fi 5, and I still have it. I still use it. I'll use it as its own standalone router, or I'll use it as a repeater for this one, because there's a switch on the side, on one of these sides, that actually allows me to go A or B mode. So I can set this up as two different things. So on one side it's the router, on the other side it's the repeater. So if I'm at home, boom, repeater. If I'm out and about, this becomes the router. So On the back we have, and this is the same one, very similar one from that one. This is dark gray. We have the WAN and two LANs. We have a place to put in a USB drive. So if you have, let's say you're at a conference and you're really not connecting up to the internet, but you want to show people pages or files or whatever, you can connect up via there. And then on the side you have a TF card, so you can put in more storage from there. So lots of different options that you can do. This one is the GL SFT 1200, which is a great travel router. So three ways I use this. First of all, with all my cameras are all set up on their own VLAN. So they got their own IP address, that's not attached to my home network. That way, when I take this off of there and take it with me, hook it up to this router, it's the exact same IP address. So I don't have to worry about that. That's how I do it for this one. So, but you don't need to do that. You can just set it up as a regular router. So when you go to a hotel, you hook it up. You can hook up their Wi-Fi into here. And then you can set up security on here so people cannot see what you're doing. You can set up the VPN. You can set up a lot of security protocols. So if you have to work, like if you work for a hospital or you work for, government or anything like that that requires you to VPN, have the VPN connections so your data stays secure, then this can do that. It's very open. There's a lot of apps that you can download on this thing to do whatever you need to do as a router, as a repeater, as a gateway, anything like that. But the other thing is when you go to the hotels, you plug this in and you use this as a middleman, especially if you've got those hotels that only say you can only connect up one device. So this will be the device that I connect up. And and then of course I set, okay, this is where the password or all the credentials come in. So they think it's this one, but I'm hooking up my phone to this router, and then I'm hooking up my laptop to this router, but it only sees this, which is awesome. Now, here's another cool thing you can do with these routers. Let's say you're having a party. The 4th of July just happened in the United States, and of course, many people were celebrating. You got friends and family over, and you've got your router set up, but you don't want to give them your passwords. You could set this up as a guest router. Plug it into your regular router, and when they come over, they say, what's the Wi-Fi password? And say, it's celebrate, 4th of July, whatever. And they say, oh, that's great. And then they type it in, and of course they have internet access on the 4th. But on the 5th, boom, you can unplug it and, change this all up. And then they come over, let's say they drive over and say, oh, I can hook up to their Wi-Fi and upload a file or something like that. So they get really close to your house. They can't do anything. It's extra security. I know it's kind of weird, but the whole point is that you can do a lot of different things with this router. It's super easy, and it's $30.88. 38% off right now. Normally, $50, it's well worth it. But at $30, I might just get another router. I might just do that. And I'm going to show you a couple tricks here really quick. First of all, there's going to be some stuff that's on Lightning. And when that happens, you'll see different buttons here. But you definitely want to add it to your cart and then keep shopping. But you want to check out by the end of the day. So we're just going to add this to my cart. And we're not going to put protection on it. But anyway, now it's added to my cart, so I'm good to go. So then when I'm ready, I can check out from there. But in some cases, there might be different buttons here. Like for instance, they had invite only buttons, and I think they still have them here. So if anything's full, if the Lightning deal is full and it says add to watch list, add it to the watch list, because you might get an email later on saying, hey, we found some more stock. Go buy it right now. And then you've got this router for $30.88. So amazing. That is 38% off right now. That is a steal. That's a great gift for the kids if they're going to college. They can hook up to the university Wi-Fi system through this. and have a little bit more security. They can take it with them. A lot of times you can plug this right into a laptop, but I highly recommend using the plug unless your laptop USB-C has a good 5-volt 3 amp coming through it. But if you're doing a lot of heavy lifting with this, then you'll definitely want to take the plug with you. The 7, that was easy. I could plug it in the laptop and then I could work all day. But like I said, depends on what you're doing. So the whole point is that this thing is just amazing. And of course, GL iNet makes a lot of routers, a lot of other stuff. Let's go over to the GL iNet store really quick and check them out. We've got the travel routers that are now Wi-Fi 7. Look at that, $134 for that Wi-Fi 7 one. Of course, the Opal, which we just looked at, for $30. Wi-Fi, is this Wi-Fi 6? I think it's Wi-Fi 6. And yeah, these are the Wi-Fi 6 routers, and a lot more. You have gateways and then of course regular routers if you want to get routers for your home with the same flexibility as the small travel router. So that's all over at GL iNet. Awesome stuff here. So, and of course, if you're having a good time, remember Amazon.com/shop/Geekazine. You can find me on Geekazine. Wherever you go, whatever you do, we'll always go through it together. See if you remember that line. See if we got any questions in the chat. We've got, oh yeah. Mick says, what's a better camera for Zoom office hours? For some of you who don't know, I participate in a show called Office Hours over at officehours.global. We talk about audio, video questions. So Mick is asking for a better camera for a Zoom Office Hours to connect HDMI with the Elgato 4K to the Sony EV10. I think you just answered your question, right? Or the Khalid V50, Canon V50. I don't use DSLRs, so I'm not the person to talk. I use PTZ cameras. In fact, we're running off of PTZ cameras right now. I have a couple DSLRs, but they're super old. So let's get that off screen. The whole point is that it's a great camera. It runs HDMI into he's asking if you can run into the Elgato 4K capture card. Many people do that, but I couldn't tell you definitely. That's a question for Office Hours you should ask. So, but thank you very much, Mick, for that question right there. If you got any questions, go over to whatever chat you're in. We're streaming live on YouTube. We're streaming live on Amazon. We're streaming live on, where else are we streaming live? I don't know. We're on TikTok. We're live on TikTok. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, and Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all these other ones. So anyway, let's move on from here and get into the next thing right here. We talked about that, so let's close that. Next up, I have, this last year, Bougie RV had redeveloped their cooler system. Now, the first one that I reviewed was, 3 years ago? And then the second one was last year, and I have a new one, but they didn't send me the batteries. And that's the key features, these batteries. And these are great. Now, this is one of them. This is the 12-volt car refrigerator. And this is supposed to be on deal days, but I don't see the deal price here. Let's go over here. So this is what this one is. There's several different versions of it. Like I have one that has a hot side and a cold side. And then I have one that just, if you just want to cool your beverages, this is a great one to have right here. It's got temperature controlled. It's app controlled. So you can say, okay, it's not cold enough on the right side. So you can go into the app and change that. And then this one's got the battery bay door on the side here. There it is. So you can go up to 8.5 hours worth of charge. Picnic, you take it on travel, you get it charged up, and then you put it in the car, You can plug it into the cigarette lighter, or they call it cigarette lighter, utility lighter, whatever it is, and then you can keep it charged that way, or you can run it off this battery, and that gives you 8.5 hours, depending on how hot or cold your cooler is. If you're just keeping beverages cold, you're probably at about 30 degrees Fahrenheit. But if you've got ice cream in there, you're probably at 0. So it takes a little bit more to run. The bottom part is where the vents are. Let's go back here, show you that. So the bottom part this is where the vents are. This is where the compressor is and everything like that. So you want to keep that clear. And of course, if you're taking it on a beach, I highly recommend putting it on a wagon or something like that. So you can, I know that it's got wheels to it, but you don't want to get sand and debris, too much sand and debris inside of there. But this one's got a handle and two places to put, 2 zones, of course, to put hot, cold and colder, or just fill up beer into that thing, and you're good to go. Now, once again, there's several different versions, the 43 quart, the 52 quart, and the 61 quart of this version. If this doesn't really work for you, then you can go over to Bougie RV. I always like saying it, Bougie RV, and check out some of the stuff. Like, this is the Rocky series. It's a 55 quart cooler, which is cool. This is what we're going to talk about in a minute here. Solar panels. They got dual hitch bike locks. That's interesting. But some of these coolers, this is the first one I reviewed, the CR Pro right here. And then, of course, this is probably on deal right here. Let's just double check. Yeah, 24% off at $219. This is a great one to have. I have that sitting upstairs. And then, of course, some of the batteries. And this is actually... this is a solar charge panel. So they do have solar panels, and you can get one of these to charge up batteries, and that's 29% off. I might have to get one because I got a few solar panels that I need to run charge through, so you can start getting your home ready for, even if you're not using it for your lights or your refrigerator or anything like that, you'll have emergency power at the ready. And at $106, having that little charge. So basically the solar panel goes in this unit, and then that will configure so it can then send it to whatever battery is charging, so it doesn't overload it. And so it also sends it, because if you hook it up directly, and I've done this before, sometimes you hook it up directly to the panel, and then there's just not enough charge for it to work. To charge the battery. But something like this is that intermediary that helps charge the battery properly. So lots of things from Bougie RV. We've got other batteries. These are the 2 batteries. They have an older and a newer one. My older coolers take this battery, we'll talk about in a minute, and the newer coolers take this battery because it's got a pin system on the bottom. So you just basically drop it into the bay, and it connects up and is ready to go. So lots of cool stuff here from Bougie RV on that. Did I grab the right one? Huh, that's interesting. All right, that's this right here. Sorry about that. I went to the wrong one. So that's the Bougie RV. I must have missed the other ones. Yeah, I definitely missed the other ones. So let's talk about these other things while we missed it. First of all, the InnoView portable monitor. Got a couple portable monitors I'm going to show. This one is 35% off. Great Prime Deal gift. I forgot to put that in. Where is it? There we go. I'll just do it this way. Boop, like that. All right, here we go. So this is the InnoView portable monitor. I've reviewed InnoView monitors. They're great monitors. A couple of them had built-in batteries, so they could run 4K screens. This one is a 1080p portable sleeve screen. For 35% off, it's $58.89. And they have a touchscreen and a non-touchscreen version. The touchscreen is usually where I find that the batteries, the extra batteries are in. But the non-touchscreen version, 35% off, and it's 1080p, 15-point-inch screen. It's got millions of colors. It can work for your computer, your laptop. Some laptops, you plug in that USB-C cord, and that's all you need, and it works. And then like gaming systems, you plug in that HDMI to HDMI mini cord, and you can play the games on a bigger screen, which is great. They have the touchscreen version. Let's check that out really quick. 30% off, $104. That's not bad, because now you can make different things touchscreen. If you've got a Mac, though, keep in mind that's not technology that Mac really has inside of their system. So most of the times there's a driver that you have to install to get it to work. And I found that sometimes that's hit or miss. But if you're on a Windows system, this thing works like magic. It's beautiful. And I've set this up for touchscreen when I'm doing live streaming videos, and I have the software to switch between cameras. I'll put it on that touchscreen, and then I'll just hit the button to make it go from scene to scene. That's 100 times easier. So works on the laptop, works on a PC. You probably could hook it up to definitely could hook it up to your iPad. Might be able to hook it up to your iPhone, and get some video. And of course, if you've got like Raspberry, they're over here. You got something like a Raspberry Pi, these portable monitors are great for that, because then I can actually affix the Pi on the back, and then it's all on one computer. And it to be a touch screen is just even better, because then I don't have to worry about having a keyboard and mouse a lot of the time there. So anyway, 30% off, 34% off for that deal right there. Let's move on to this one. I talked about the OBSBot Tiny. This is the Tiny SE. They have two versions of Tiny, the Tiny and the Tiny SE. This is the, I don't want to say lesser version, but it is a lower price version. It has a little bit less features to it. And let's open that up really quick. There we go. Because I forgot to. All right, so 1080p, 100 frames a second video, and of course you plug it into the computer. There's no battery in here, there's no memory in here. You'll need to hook it up to a source like a laptop or a desktop. They also have this thing called the OBSBot Talent, which is a live stream box where you can plug in HDMI and USB cameras, and this one works perfect on there. So you can actually have a multicam situation like I'm doing right now in the palm of your hand. We might talk about that a little bit later. I know that there's going to be some deals from OBSBot on the Talent. So the one thing about this one, the SE, that I like over the Tiny is the fact that it's got its kickstand. This is the monitor kickstand. So if you have your monitor, we'll just say that's the monitor, you could put your camera like that, and we'll lower that down so you can see that a little bit better. And then of course you can reposition it for the camera to go wherever you need it to go, and then you're good to go. So, but the Tiny SE is really cool, and of course you get the OBSBot software to control it. You can also control it through other means as well, but it's an awesome camera. I've had OBSBot Tiny cameras in the studio for many years. I've used them as security cameras, I've used them as live stream cameras, I've used them as, gosh, many different things. So this is a staggered HDR. You got dual ISO, 2.8 inch sensor inside of here. So it will work pretty decent in low light, but not perfect, but enough so if somebody walks into your house or something like that, it can capture it. So really cool, and it's 15% off right now at $84. So you can't go wrong. Great time to upgrade. And I always tell people, if you're on the road and you got a laptop and you have to do a lot of Zoom calls or something like that, get a camera like that. Get a small tripod, and then you can put it on the table behind the laptop. That way, if you're working on your laptop, you're typing on the laptop, your screen's going like this, and the camera's not doing that. It's all noisy. It's very annoying. So it's going to be basically it'll be more stable. Now, if the table's a little bit wobbly, there's not much you can do unless you have a tripod that can sit on the floor or whatever. But you can control your camera. And the other cool part about that is, let's say it's all got all the AI control to it. So let's say you're in a classroom or something like that, and you want to show people what's going on the whiteboard. You can get up, walk over, and then this thing will follow you to the whiteboard, and then you can zoom in on equations or whatever, and then walk back to your desk and sit down and have a conversation. So pretty cool stuff right there. And that's $84, and that's from our friends over at OBSBot. We already talked about the Bougie RV, but I forgot I was on the wrong link there. So let's just take a second to talk about the Bougie RV. And then, of course, if you have any questions, we're going to find out in a second here. All right, what do we got? Oh, okay. Mick says, thank you. You bet. I'd love to help you a little bit more, and maybe I should get a couple DSLRs in studio again. I used to deal with I did a lot of Canon DSLRs, and about 5-6 years ago, but I was more towards the PTZ cameras because they work the way I want them to, and now I should, because like for instance over here, you kind of can see it. It's a little bit off frame. Let's do that. We'll go over a little bit. There's my that's the Canon. That's a T7 T7i, I believe, and that is the, which one is that? It's the, I can't think of the Zhiyun, I believe is their name. But anyway, 3-axis stabilizer. I'll definitely be talking about that in the future. And if they have Prime Day deals, then I will definitely be talking about that on Prime Day. So, but anyway, so that's the Bougie RV. Let's move on to the other Bougie RV. This is going to take a second. It's heavy, but not that heavy. So keep that in mind when I bring this up. This is there's too much stuff in the way. There we go. This is the Bougie RV portable air unit. Now, you might be wondering, it kind of looks like K9 from Doctor Who. You get that reference? Anyway, this goes in the window. This is your vent out. This is where the hot goes. This is where the cool goes. This is a 12 volt. 12 volt. Let's get to the right page here. There we go. 3,500 BTU tent air conditioner. There is no battery on here, so you'll have to have an external battery. And they did not add, as far as I know, they didn't add a battery source to it. And I just got this a couple weeks ago, and I'm trying to play with it. I don't do too much tent camping, but there are some filters right back here. For example, this part right here, you can pop off as a filter inside of here. And then what else? Yeah, on the front here, on the top here, we've got the cooling. There we go. We got all the controls. I'll get the cords out of the way. I'm trying to keep everything together. You got the controls. Let's do the overhead. Let's see if you can see it on the overhead. Zoom that out. Oops, went too far. There we go. Slide that up a little bit so you can see it. So right here, there we go. Right here we have all the controls to turn it on or whatnot. And of course it's not going to turn on because I don't have it plugged in. Standard plug for that. And then of course the vent back here. So you'll pull that out. If you're in a tent, what you'll do is you'll have this sitting outside the tent. So the hot air goes out and the cold air comes in and then keeps your tent cool. You can use it for other things. Let's say your air conditioner goes out in your house. It's a really hot day. This is a nice emergency air conditioner. Even, let's say the power goes out in your house and you have a backup battery. You can plug this into that, and it is 3,500 BTU. The power, what was the power? Check the power really quick. And there's three different models. So this is the 3,500 BTU model. It's 400 watts and runs at 50 decibels. I got a sneeze coming. Hold on. Okay, that went over. Okay, perfect. So the whole point is that for 400 watts on a portable generator, you could definitely get all night. If you've got a full generator, got a good generator there, you can definitely keep your tent cool all night. I'm thinking, because I don't have air conditioning in the car right now. The air conditioner module decided to go bye-bye. And I was thinking of actually putting this in the truck and cooling down my truck this way. Once again, I just need something to power it, and I can keep my truck cool. How sweet is that? So anyway, this is on deal right now. And what do we got for the deal? What was it? Back to the top. There we go. 26% off, $369.99. In fact, I had a friend. He goes, because he's a musician. He goes, I sometimes I sleep in the car for a couple hours before I drive home, because it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and he doesn't want to have his car on. So I said, yeah, you get this and a portable power unit. You plug this into there, and then you stick this out there. You close the window as much as possible, and you stick this outside to let the warm air out, and then you get a couple hours rest. You don't have to have the car battery on. You're not wasting gas. When you get home, you just plug the portable power in to recharge it, and then you're good to go. So this is not small, but it definitely will fit in a back seat. It'll definitely, if you, let's say you've got and I live in a townhouse, up on that top level doesn't always get as cool as these bottom two levels. So something like this, with this, you can kind of rearrange the window, because even with an air conditioner, we used to do that. Take a piece of plywood, and you make all the adjustments so you could put the air conditioner in and be able to block out any heat or anything like that. So you just basically have to make something that'll fit into the window so the hot air doesn't get in, and then run it. So it's perfect for things like that. So lots of cool stuff. $369. Campers, tents, trailers. Let's say you've rented a trailer. Yeah, let's say you rented a trailer from one of these trailer rental places, and you just want it to be cool. So when let's say you're moving lawnmowers around and you want to cool down a little bit, you can get into this thing and just cool it down. It's different ideas, but mostly for tent camping or anything like that. But once again, you do need a power source for this thing, and of course 400 watts. So 400 watts. Let's see, that's your microwave's usually about 900 to 1200 watts. Your refrigerator is about 1,000 watts. Your computer most likely is around 200 to 400 watts. So hopefully that gives you an idea of what it's like. So anyway, that's the Bougie RV portable air conditioner, 3,500 BTU, $369. You can check it out now. If you've got the older model Bougie RVs, then this battery is on deal, but it also works as a great standalone battery if you need to charge your iPhone or something like that, because it has 277 watts of power, which means I can charge my iPhone several times. Works with refrigerators, basically just by plugging it in, and then of course you can charge it up in the wall or whatever. It also has a flashlight to it. Let me show you right here. It's over there, but this is easier just to show you. 20% off at $175 for that deal right there. And then, of course, the solar panel. I have the solar panel upstairs in the other room. It's great because you could actually strap this thing onto a car, onto a camper or an RV or anything like that, and be able to charge your cooler or the batteries, or even with the converter you could plug this in and then use solar power to run these things. So lots of different options here. It's got tape on the other side so you can tape it down. It's got straps so you can, if you have to move the trailer, you don't have to take it down just to move it and then put it back up. It works off the Anderson plug system, and of course I got an adapter to plug it in straight into a couple different batteries through the little can system, power system. 15% off. It's a $509.99, and it is a 200 watt solar panel. So could you put this on your house? Yes, you can, but you have to be a little bit thoughtful on it. So if you rent, this is a great way to do it. If you got to rent and you got a place to put solar panels up on the side of the house, and your landlord says okay, that's a great way to get some extra charge from the sun. So lots of cool stuff. I'm going to reset really quick for the next item. We're going to get this out of the way and then show you some more stuff here. So I'll be right back. Of course, it's heavy. Don't knock anything over. There we go. Didn't knock anything over. Yay me. I'm going to start barreling through stuff here. Geekazine.com, of course, Amazon.com/shop/Geekazine. You can go over there. I'm on all the socials, and we're on TikTok right now. So if you're over on TikTok, say hi. See some of the deals. But if you go to Amazon.com/shop/Geekazine, you'll see the Prime Day deals, and then that'll take you to this page. Everything we talk about is going to be here. You can see that right now. Like we just talked about the Bougie RV stuff. It's right there. And more stuff will be coming as we keep going. So just go to that page, and there you are. So let's move on from here. Let's go over. Anker has been around for years. And I got this 10,000 milliamp battery, geez, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago. Something like that, and it's still working great. And this is what we have here is the newer version of this battery, which is a PowerCore 10K power bank. The bank itself, let's just move this over a little bit. There we go. And up. The best part about this battery bank, 10,000 milliamps, so I can charge my phone a couple times when I'm on the road or other devices. It's got USB-A, it's got USB-C. It looks like they have now an USB to charge it with and a USB to disperse with. So you can go two different plugs if you need to. On the top here you have the button. It's going to tell you how many lights it has. I think I have 2. I have to charge this up. But I use this all the time for cameras and things like that. Like that OBSBot tail air. I will plug this in here to give it extra charge. So if I have a 3-hour show, then I'll use this battery so I don't have to turn off this or plug it in or anything like that if I need to. So great item. This is 31% off right now. So if you need a device to charge phones or cameras or anything like that, drones, great way to charge certain batteries on some drones. 5 volt, 3 amps. So it's high speed charge. So if you have a device that requires that speed, like that GLINet router, this could be your answer. And then, like I said, 10,000 milliamps, you'll be able to get a good charge. Recharge your phone a couple times. That GLINet, this would probably go a good 8 to 10 hours before I have to charge this. So, and this could also be an intermediary. So I have this plugged in to charge and then this out to the device. So 31% off, $17.99. It's a great deal. It's a great back to school deal because now we got to start thinking of back to school. So if you're camping, this is great for that. If you're going back to school, this is great for that. If you're getting married, this is great for that. Graduation, all that other stuff. It's great for that. So, all right, and that's from Anchor. Let's move on from here. Next up, I'm a little bit of a geek, and I really do. I want this. This is the HWC Trading Dave Prowse and James Earl Jones USL signed, printed, autographed Star Wars Darth Vader print photo. 21% off at $14.99. So if you know me and you want to get me a gift, this is the gift to give. I'm just saying. But it's on a great deal right now. There's a couple different options. You have the $14.99, the $24.99, which is 17% off. And then, of course, $37.99, which is the bigger one. And that's 16% off right now. All on Prime Day deal. Gotta love it. Prime Day deals right there. And that is, forgot to click on there. There we go. That is right there. So it says, it's really funny because the page says 16% off, but this down here, Prime Deal, says 21% off. So I'm not sure which it is. I'm going to go with the website, 16% off. So let's move on from here. Some cable matters. Cables. I actually bought this. What was it? Last year. That's right. Because I needed. Basically, my tables are on wheels, my computer's on wheels, and I took the computer and I've technically separated from the table. So if I need to move that computer back over there so I have more room here, I have that ability. That's where I bought these cables. I got the 10-foot versions, and they're $7.99, 16% off right now. And they have basically so I can keep my Stream Decks or my keyboard and mouse on the desk, and then have this all the way over to the side. So you can get 3-foot extensions, 6-foot extensions. You just need an extra foot to get to the plug. That's what these are for, and they're very great. They're very solid in their connection. I actually ran over one of the ends with one of the cartwheels, and it didn't bend, which was great. I was really happy about that. But if it does bend, it's easy to unbend. But the whole point is that these are awesome for extensions. They are, if you've got a device that is running USB 3.1, I believe it is. That's where these come in. 3.0, excuse me. So it's about 5 gigabit per second transfer. That will help on that. And of course, when you put an extension on, it's not always going to be the fastest thing, but it will work. Like I said, it'll just run in my Stream Decks and my laptop. Or I'm sorry, not my laptop, my keyboard and my mouse. So anyway, that is 16% off for the 10-foot model. And now I realize why that said 21% off, and that's because I was on a different version of the print, and that was a different percentage off. So that's where that came from. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, can't really show you the 8-port 2.5 gigabit PoE switch with 10 gig SFP. That was that. Let's no. Actually, before we get to here, let's talk about Fire tablets. I don't know which version Fire tablet this is. I have several of them. These things are awesome because I have my iPad, which works great. I have my laptop, which works great. But sometimes you just need another screen. And the phone screens are also great, but they're just not to the level that I need, especially screen size. And that's where an Amazon Fire tablet comes in. You can get two versions of the Fire tablet. One version puts ads on the lock screen. And one version, let's just zoom out on this a little bit. There we go. And of course you can then get the version that doesn't do that on the lock screen, which I do have. It's a little bit more, but it's well worth it, I think. and then we're going to go over here. There we go. The HD Fire 10, the newest version. And I don't think that I know I have the newest version somewhere, but I have these tablets all over the house. The newest version, 10.1-inch screen, 3 gigabytes of RAM, 32 gigabytes storage, octa-core processor. That 3 gigabytes of RAM is really what makes the difference, especially if you're playing a game or watching a movie or something like that. It doesn't show lag on your screen or anything like that. We'll go ahead and turn it on. Just did a system update. I use it for my, whenever I connect up to a mixer, like my QSC mixer or a Behringer. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. But I use these for that. Of course, playing games, playing Clash of Clans, Candy Crush, easy peasy. Even some of the more difficult games. And then I have another app called Jam Zone. So as a musician, I don't think I have it on this Kindle, but as a musician, I have different apps that will call up lyrics and call up chord structures. So if somebody says, hey, play Freebird, I can. And that's where this comes in. You can watch Hulu, you can watch Netflix, Peacock, Amazon, HBO. You can do a lot of different things, of course. It's a great tablet to have. And it's a great Tri-Airy tablet. If you've got an iPad already, this is another tablet to have just in case. And of course, if you've got like the Blink system or any other webcams, you can also use this to see who's at the front door. So this could become your Echo Show, for example. And you can set it up for that as well. Many different options. You can also do Zoom calls from here. You can also do, it's just a great tablet at a very, very low price. And it's 50% off that low price at $69.99 right now. So that's how great that is. So that is an awesome deal right there. All right. Moving on. Chunk. Let's see if anybody has any questions. All right. Nobody's got questions, but definitely if you do have questions, let me know in the chat wherever you are watching this from. Let me take a quick drink here. Get into the next item. Next up, now we'll talk about that. The Tiro. I have actually, I was telling you how my cameras are on their own VLAN, their own IP addresses. That is being controlled by a router, but it's then going into this guy right here. This is the Tiro 8-port, 2.5 gigabit, and you can actually see right here. There we go. Last purchased March 4th of 2024. I purchased this last year. 20% off at $55.99. And so what it is each of these, it's just, it's great for security cameras, definitely, but it's also great for other devices that use power over Ethernet, because then you don't have to plug them into the wall. So here we go. So this right here is an SFP port. You can buy a regular Ethernet jack for that. You can, if you run fiber optic cable, you can buy a fiber connector for that. So you then just plug it in here, and then your network around the room can talk to each other, or around the house can talk to each other. You can have security cameras. Let's say this one's a security camera right here. This one's your computer. This one will recognize this needing power, and then it'll give it power. That's where these lights come in. And then, of course, you can also set up a VLAN through a simple switch. So it's technically an unmanaged switch, but with the VLAN, this can... with this VLAN option, it can be a little bit managed. So slight management. So, but anyway, it runs each Ethernet jack runs 2.5 gigabits per second. So if your laptops do 1 gigabit per second, that's great. This won't be your bottleneck when you're trying to transfer data from one side to the other. But if you have, let's say, like I have my Mac Mini over here, the M4, 10 gigabit per second. I can plug that into there and then plug that into maybe a laptop that has 2.5 gigabit per second. And I won't get 10, but I'll get 2.5, so I'll have a faster transfer. In fact, that's what this computer has, a 2.5 and a 10. And I plug that into 2.5, which goes to the Mac Mini. So whenever I have to transfer large files from one to the other, boom, it's a snap. It's really cool. It's really cool. It is IEEE 802.3AF at 120 watts, which means you have power over Ethernet, PoE, and PoE plus, and then PoE plus plus. Depending on how much power your device needs, that's where that comes in. And like I said, there's a lot of other devices that you can get that run PoE power. Like a Raspberry Pi I showed you earlier, you can get a module attached to it that runs your Ethernet with PoE power. So it'll power the Raspberry Pi, and you won't have to plug it into a wall, which is really nice. And it's even nicer if you go overseas, because then you don't have to get a whole bunch of adapter plugs. I can just plug in my cameras to this switch to the router. Switch has to have an adapter. Router has to have an adapter, and that's it. And if I have 8 cameras, that's a big saving of power. Finding plugs, bringing a power strip or anything like that. So, 8 ports, really cool. If you have a LAN in your home, if you run cables through your home, and I highly recommend you should run a couple cables, just in case you get in that Zoom call where you don't want to break up or you want to sound as best as possible. You can plug into the Ethernet jack, and you have a better connection than if you're wireless. Wireless, it works, just not all the time. Let's move on. Let's talk about these bags. I had to move, and that was the one thing that really bothered me, was trying to find boxes. I don't work at any place that does boxes anymore. I have totes, and I'm a big fan of totes because then you can stack totes. If it gets wet in the basement, that's okay. The totes are going to protect it. But these bags are even better because they're foldable. You can unfold it. I do put a piece of cardboard on the bottom to kind of stabilize it, but then you unfold it, and then you have all this space to do whatever. I'm not sure how many, 93 liters it says. So, and then when you're done, you basically fold it up, and then you can store it. And that's what's really cool about these bags. You can store them. So, and as you can see, I purchased them several times because these are awesome. They come in 8. You get 8 of them at the purchase. 35% off at $25.49. These are the 93L packs. You got the 8-pack, the 6-pack, the 4-pack. Then, of course, they have these 125 liters. So these are bigger bags. Maybe this is the ones I got was the 125. I don't know which ones, but I use them all the time. Let's say you go on a grocery run and you got like 5 grocery bags, or you go a place that doesn't give you grocery bags. Take one of those with you. You can fill that up with groceries to your heart's content. It's got a handle on the top, so you just pick it up and move. I move video gear, I move musical gear through those bags as well. And like I said, they fold up, and if they rip, oh, that's too bad. I'll just, I can get more. But these are amazing. I highly recommend, cut out, when you get some boxes, just measure the size on the bottom and then cut out fillers on the bottom. That way you can have it on the ground and then it doesn't fold on itself. And of course, when you lift it up, it doesn't feel all limp or anything like that. So, but great for everything you need. And then, of course, I have a couple bags in the car. So if I do stop somewhere, or let's say, I want to get wood for the fireplace. This is another perfect example. I want to get wood for the fireplace. So I stop and I get wood, and they say, all you can fill into a bag for $10 or whatever. It's like, oh, yeah, can do that. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go. Lift it up, put it in the car. You don't get the mess in the car. I have been to places where I could, as much wood as you can carry for a price. And if I would have had those bags, I would have put them in those bags because my car was super hard. I have a truck, and it was really hard to actually get all those little wood chips out of the truck. without something like a blower or anything like that. But anyway, this is a great deal to have, and it's a great time to get it at $20. I'm sorry, the one I had, the 8-pack, that was $25. And you can get less or more. You just have to navigate through the little things here. So if you want the 93 liter 4-pack right there, you can do that. I'm hoping they're going to come out with ones that are half the size. Oh, and they do have a little label area on the side, so you can label. So if you are moving, you know that what goes up in the bedroom, what goes to the living room or whatever, and you're good to go there. So I can't say anything better about that. It's just it's an amazing device. So, all right, some of you people don't like my Mises, Moses, or whatever. So we have the Kensington Slim Blade. And in fact, what I'm doing is I'm calling up the unboxing video that I had on it. So this is the Slim Blade Pro Trackball, 2.4 gigahertz wireless, or you can plug it up. It is also Bluetooth. Twist scroll for precision scrolling, 128-bit AES encryption, and it's Windows and Mac compatible. So if you don't care for a mouse, if you like the little ball feel, because there's some creators that like that, then this is the device to get. We did the unboxing. You can see that on Amazon. That's what I'm showing right now. So where are we? I think I got this last year. The ball, that's the other cool thing, is that ball is easy to lift up and get out, so you can clean this out, because it's going to get a little bit schmutzy in there, and you'll be able to clean that out fairly quick. And of course, like I said, it's wireless, so you can plug it in. If the battery is not charged enough, you can plug it in so you can use it, and then let it charge, and then of course unplug it and continue to use it wireless. So that's on deal right now at let's see, 15% off at $101.99. They also have another model. Let's take a look. That's at $84.99. So you have a couple different options, all the way up to $119. So you can check all three options on that page there. And how do you check that out? All you have to do is go to Amazon.com/shop/Geekazine, and then go over to, there we go, and go back. Gotta go back. Amazon.com/shop/Geekazine, and then come down here where it says Prime Day 2025, and everything that I'm talking about today, there it is right there. So, and of course, you can get some of the other cool stuff like the merch. The Geekazine, these are all the t-shirts that I made, including the one I'm wearing right now. 80s Jesus Saved Me, one floppy at a time. You notice disc 1 of 4096. I love this one. Plus, we have other shirts, including the Geekazine branded shirt, so you can support the channel. Before I Geek Out coffee, Born to Geek Out, we have the cryptic one right here. You'll have to guess what it says on the shirt. I like geeky butts and I cannot lie. And then, of course, the original Geek AI right there. So let's see. I guess, well, oh, yeah, we got a comment over here. Computer Pal goes, I have to figure out how to do that. I'm not sure what you have to do. Are you talking about with the trackpad, or let's see, or the bags, or the router? Merch. Oh, how to do merch. Oh, okay. Well, I have been on the merch program for about 6-7 years now. And I think it's merch.amazon.com is where you go, where you can sign up from there. So hopefully that helps. I don't know what their qualifications are for getting in. I know that I'm kind of like a unicorn when it comes to this. So, but I have T-shirts there, and of course you can check that out and of course support. You bet. Hey, before you go, that little heart on the corner, go ahead and hit that a couple times. I want to get up. I can't get up to. I don't think I'll get up to 22,000, but get up to like 600 or 700. That's a good number right there. And then of course, if you're not following me, go ahead and smash that follow button right there. Let's move on. We talked about that. Let's talk about my TP link. Thank you. Oh, perfect. Thank you. Let's talk about the TP link. Now, this is the router. This is the gateway. It's not a router. It's technically a router, but it's a security gateway that I have running in my system. And the reason why I'm using this one, and I do have a video on that. Let's go to the video. That's not the video. There's my video. There we go. So, boom, there we are. So this is the TP-Link Omada Gigabit VPN router. It's a gateway, it's a router. So the whole point is that when you are, why is everything shifted? Maybe I need to unshift. Maybe I need to change a little bit. Let's do that. There we go. So it's a VPN router. It's SD-WAN. That's the reason why I got this thing, because I had an SD-WAN router, and it was through a client and a contract, and when that was up, I had to return it. But I like the idea of bringing two internets in and then using one device to kind of meter it back and forth. SD-WAN is simply this ability to bring in two internets. Let's say you have a fiber internet and you have a cable internet, which is what I normally did with this. I plugged them into the router, or I could use my phone. I could tether my phone into this thing. And then if I just needed something extra, so let's say I want to watch Netflix while I'm uploading a video, I can say on this internet, give the priority to the download or the upload, and on this internet, give the that's where you're going to watch your Netflix or your Amazon Prime from. And if this goes down, the download can move over here. But if this goes down, watching the video doesn't go over here. So this becomes a consistent. It does fail over, or you can separate it out completely. So if you run a business at home, you can have your business side protected, where if people are playing games or watching movies, if the internet goes down for a little bit, that's too bad, but there's priorities here. So that's the reason why I got this router, for that SD-WAN capability, but it's got so much more. It's, like I said, it's a VPN router. So when and enabling the VPN is a key, because now you're protecting what's going out there to the internet. And so it's still up, and I'm going to be replacing it with another network that we're going to be doing a video on. But it's still a great router. And the best part about this router is it is super inexpensive. It is part of a bigger system, the ER605. It's part of a bigger system. So if you need to expand it with wireless points, access points, and switches and everything, you can definitely do that. But this one right here, just this VPN router, is 17% off at $49.99. Now, if you run your router through your Wi-Fi, let's say it's a Wi-Fi router like most people do, like a D-Link or a Netgear or something like that, highly recommend that you get this guy right here, put it in, and then set up your wireless router where it can accept other connections, but it's basically a gateway to that router. That way, if your Wi-Fi, if that Wi-Fi box goes down, then if you have anything hooked up onto cables, they stay up perfect. And I've been doing this for years now this way, and it's so much easier than having everything in an all-in-one unit. So $49.99 for this. They also have the Festa router, 33% off. I'll show you that really quick. The Festa router, 33% off at $39.99. And the AX3000, which that's a Wi-Fi 6 unit, for $149. Now, as you can see, this has your WAN, the WAN LAN. So any of these ports right here can be switched to run LAN, or inside of your house, or WAN, like an internet connection. And they are, I don't think they're power over Ethernet. No, they're not. But in the middle here, you have this thing. It says SFP WAN LAN. This is another WAN. And yeah, this is another WAN. And basically what happens is you get a little device, and you can plug in either an Ethernet jack or fiber optics in there. So let's say you've got a router that does fiber into your house. You can plug it in here. instead of having a converter to plug Ethernet to use your router. So a lot of different things from TP-Link. Great stuff right there. You can check that all out. All right, let's move on from here. Go like that. Next up, ViewSonic. I'm a fan of these ViewSonics. I've had many different versions. This is the TD1655. The one we're talking about is the VG1655, which is basically the same thing. These are the portable monitors. There's a touchscreen version, the TD1655, I believe. But this is the one reason why I like this portable monitor. A lot of these portable monitors have the case that folds up so it becomes a stand. This has just got a kickstand to it. And when I need something solid and so it doesn't flop on the ground, I'll grab this monitor right here. Just like other portable monitors, 15 inches across. You can plug it directly in via USB-C if your laptop allows that, or the HDMI cable, so you can play the games off of here. Millions of colors, powered, 60-watt USB-C, IPS, iCare, all that other stuff. But it's just got this extra thing, and I think this also has that kickstand. So speakers inside as well. So when you're on travel, and the best part, when you're on travel, you put this with your laptop, you put this in the bag. It doesn't add much weight. I think it's like a pound or two more. And then you could take it with you and have a 2-screen system. Easy peasy. I do that all the time. Great monitor system. ViewSonic makes some great stuff. We've talked about ViewSonic in the past many times. So 15% off. They have a 1080p version, a wireless 1200p version, and a 1600p version. So the resolution is 1600p. It's like 2560 by 1600, if I remember correct. So 186. Let's go through the prices here. Boom. Let's go that. So this is the one we're talking about. 15% off at 186. We got the 1200p. Now 1200p is I don't remember the resolution. But 1200p IPS wireless, 60 watts, just like that. It's got a built-in 4,000 milliamp battery and stand with smart cover. So it looks a little bit different. And this is $339. And that's not on Prime Day deals. But then we have the 1600p. And then this has got a rotation sensor in it. So if you want to go portrait style versus landscape, you can easily do that. 65 watt USB-C, 2K. So that's the 2560 by 1600, like I was talking about. Two-way powered. So you can actually plug in your computer to the monitor. It'll charge, or it'll power up through the monitor. And then I believe you can plug in a phone or something like that to charge that. So pass through. 65 watts though. So you have a lot of great options here, but the one we're talking about is this 1080p, which works perfect when it comes to simply just having something on the road with you. When I was doing stuff on the road, then I would have loved to have had this monitor as a second monitor. But we were running off of VGA plugs at that time, and I won't get into that. So I won't get into those days, kids. Anyway, let's move on and trying to get close here. Computer Pal, thank you very much. He says already following. Thank you. All right, let's move on from here. Where are we? Let's talk about, the Amazon Smart Thermostat. Now, I have the thermostat. I don't know where it is. Had it at the old place. And, of course, we installed it at the old place. And, of course, I got this new place and already had Smart Thermostat in it. So the Amazon Smart Thermostat is on Prime Day deal at $51.99, 35% off. We'll show you this here. And I did a video where you do need the C-wire, but they do have a adapter that allows you to create the C-wire. And what is a C-wire? Basically, when you pull the thermostat off the wall, you get a whole bunch of wires that come with it. One's a red one, one's a yellow one, one's a white one, one's a blue one, one's a brown one, depending on how old your furnace is and everything like that. And if you have central air or anything. But all of those wires will do something with the thermostat. So if you set it to heat, it'll heat. If you set it to cool, it will cool. The C-wire is what powers the unit. Older thermostats usually ran off of a AA battery or something like that, and that was perfect for them. You change out the battery every 6 months to a year or whatever, and that was good. This one just need that C-wire, which is actually not that difficult to connect to the furnace. And maybe if you're renting, your landlord will do that. But and I did that. But there's also a device you can get, what's called a C-wire, and that might still be on here. I'd have to look to see if it's probably not on Prime Deal. The whole point is that you can connect that up and then run this thermostat. Then it runs the thermostat through your Amazon system. So you can say, LA, turn up the heat, and it does that. Turn down the heat, and it does that. And it's even got a whole bunch of smart timers. You have some abilities to really work and figure out the best time to cool the house, best time to not cool the house, and therefore this thing will save you some money. So smart thermostat, I highly recommend a smart thermostat, and this is a great one right here at 35% off, $51.99. You can't go wrong with that. All right, that was, oops, forgot to do that. That's right here. All right, where are we? 528 hearts. Let's get up to 1,000. I want to get up to 1,000. Get 1,000 hearts. Help me out here if you're still there, computer pal. All right, let's move on. I forgot to grab this. This is upstairs in the music room. I have an upstairs music room. Yes, I do. I'm a musician. That's how that works. I love these microphones. This is the toner. This is an older one. They have a newer version, which is great too, because they run on wireless batteries. This one takes AA batteries, but you can always get rechargeable AA's to put in there. Easy peasy. This runs 2 microphones wirelessly. And the biggest reason why I like this system is because, let me see in the back here. It's got great range, by the way. I have run these at shows where I could walk all the way back to the back of the theater and still keep connection. They're running off of UHF wireless. So any interruption is because somebody else has a UHF wireless on the same numbers. It doesn't hit the security frequencies, so this is a safe one to get. So I think this gets the 900 range or something like that. We have 2 antennas that control, they control both microphones. But this is the cool thing right here I want to show you. They have the balanced and then the unbalanced. That's that output jack in the middle. The balanced are XLRs. Let's say you have 2 singers in a band and you just want to control through a mixing console their volume. That's where this comes in. A lot of these other low cost 2 microphone mixers usually have 1 plug and it's a 1/4 inch jack. If you can plug in XLRs into a mixing board, I'm all for that. That way you can separate the sound. That way you can control the sound. So yeah, a lot of times if you have a female singer and a male singer, the female singer has to have a different EQ setup because of the range of their voice. And if you have 1 plug to rule them all, it makes it really tough to mix that down. Now, you might not know what I'm talking about, and that's okay. The whole point is that you have the options right here. So if you make yourself, let's say you're making yourself your basement karaoke man cave or whatever. You know, you call up YouTube karaoke songs and then you want to have like a really simple sound system in the basement. Having this with wireless mics, it's so much easier. So much easier. And like I said, I have this one and I have the newer one, which the batteries are actually rechargeable. And it comes with the USB-C plug, which recharge. And I bet you it's right there in a different page. So, but it's amazing what you can do with these microphones. They're great and they work well in a practice band situation, in a karaoke situation, or in some live band situations. or if you're calling bingo numbers, or if you're, I don't know, you're just doing general announcements. You got one speaker, wireless microphone, it's race day, things like that. And there's going to be times you're just like, I wish we had a wireless microphone. There you go. The unit has to be plugged in. The main unit has to be plugged in. It can't work off of batteries unless you plug it into like a power source or something like that. But this one, 2 mics, 15% off. We got the 4 mic system. That's also 15% off at $169. And then, of course, this is 8 mics, $280. Also 15% off. They're all cardioid pickup. And so basically that's like, this is a dynamic cardioid microphone. So if I start talking like this, you hear less of me. If I walk away more, you hear less of me. But when I get up on the mic, that's where you hear me. And these microphones are great for public speaking or anything like that. So this is 15% off at $93.49. So great deal from Tonar right there. You can check out. They have a lot of other cool ones as well. Let's talk about NVMe. We're getting Fast and Furious, or Fury. Fast and Fury. I got this from Kingston, and I've been putting it into different devices, and it's out of the device. I'm going to show you a device. I think I'm showing it to you later from Acasis, and I tried this on one. This actually doesn't work on that because this is a PCIe 5.0 NVMe device. What does that mean? So we'll zoom in a little bit on that. And over. There we go. So this is an NVMe that runs PCIe 5.0. So this could get up to 1400 megabits per second. Whereas PCIe 4.0 could get you up to 6,000 megabytes a second. This gets up to 14,000 megabytes per second. If you have a computer motherboard that runs PCIe 5.0 with the NVMe 2, I got a motherboard that actually runs PCIe 5.0, but the M2s are PCIe 4.0. So if you've got a device that runs this, it can change the speed of your computer. I can plug this into my computer and run PCIe 4 and get a pretty decent speed off of this. So about 6,000 to 8,000 megabits per second, or 6 to 8 gigs per second. You get the idea. So this is great. 33% off at $219. That's for the 2 terabyte model. They have a 1 terabyte model, a 2 terabyte model, and a 4 terabyte model. 4 terabyte model is $419. It's also 33% off. And the 1 terabyte is 16% off at $171. So NVMe drives, just amazing. Got storage here. And then you could double these up on computers and then set certain ones you can set to RAID. This one should be able to set to RAID without a problem. And then you've got protection on your system. So I got to check one thing out, and then we'll be right back. We're almost done here. Grab something to drink really quick. If you're just watching and you're on Amazon.com/shop/Geekazine, you see where that little heart is. We're trying to get up to 1,000 on that. And so I got to click that a few times. All right, let's move to the next thing. And that was that. Let's go here. The next thing is actually the case I was going to talk about. What I do with it? It's over here. There we go. NVMe drives can be put into enclosures. This one is from Acasis. This is, there we go. Close that out. We can't put the Fury into this because this is a PCIe 4.0 case. And unfortunately, even though the drive says it can be backwards compatible, it doesn't work on this one. So keep that in mind if you were planning to do that. I already tested it out. But anyway, this is the Acasis 80 gigabit per second enclosure. But when you put an NVMe in there, that will, the best is 6 gigs per second read write. And of course, we did a lot of tests and showed that in the videos. And there's a video up on Amazon here that does this. The interesting thing about this is that there's no screws to put an NVMe drive in here. They have two parts to it, this magnetic cover case, and then this part right here, which has little rubber nubs. So you put your NVMe in there, and then you put this on, you close it down, and then you put the nub in instead of screw it in with a screwdriver. Then you take this case, and then you snap it shut like, whoop. Do that again. Snap it shut. I'm doing it backwards, that's why. You put it like this and snap it shut. There we go. USB-C connection. There's cooling in there. You saw it's a thermal pad. It's like thermal paste. So don't try to touch the pad. The pad you insert yourself. So I basically put this down. So you'll see how it all works when you do that. But this will help keep the NVMe, the M2 inside there cooler as you're working. And then, of course, you can plug this in. If you've got something with Thunderbolt 5, like a Mac Mini M4, something like this is great for storage options because the transfer rate is pretty fast, pretty high. So 30% off, $209.99, excuse me, for 80 gigabits per second M2 enclosure. And that is the Acasis 80 gig M2 NVMe SSD. And you can check that out now. All right. Next one, friends at LaPro. And I don't have the floor lamp down here, but I have this guy right here, which is also a LaPro light. There it is. But the floor lamp is actually
rainbow.
Oops. Why does it always do that? There we go. There's my unbox video right here. So this is the floor lamp. And what's great about this is it was so thin. I'm showing you the other lamp in the video so you can see that. But this is the floor lamp. It is so thin. It's crazy. I replaced a lamp that actually had two bulbs in it, two smart bulbs in it, with this lamp. And it streamlined it so much, and it's so much brighter than that other lamp was. And I was very, very impressed with this guy. Plus, it's a smart lamp. It's got smart LED. It's got independent control on the lights, and millions of colors as well. So every now and then I set it up like a tiki torch. So, and there's different settings that you can set up from there. So this is the O1 light that we'll move a little bit forward to see. So basically you pull it out of the box, you screw it all together, and then it goes from the floor. It's about 3.5 feet high, somewhere around there. Allows you to put it behind your couch, behind your chair, and you could have it, I'd say LA lights at 1% all the time, but then when I need something bright, 100%, it's more than enough. It's crazy how bright that thing gets. So anyway, that is that. It's a great light to have. And it's right now on 40% off at $95.99. If you're a musician, it's fun mood light. If you got a man cave, it's fun mood light. And of course, you can add it with a lot of the other stuff from LaPro. Let's go to the LaPro page really quick. They have several different types of lighting options, from this guy right here to the to LED strip lights, to the lamps, to the outdoor lights, and a lot more. They deal in lighting, camping lights, everything like that. And you can check that out. Just basically go, and of course regular bulbs, regular Edison style bulbs. And you can check that out over at the LaPro store. All you have to do is go to the page and then click on LaPro store, and there you are right there. So, all right, next thing. Let's talk about, I love the fact that we can get fans with batteries in them. I did pull this from my music room because I set this underneath the keyboard because, I need to stay cool. And right now I need to stay cool. And that's what it's doing right now. Hopefully the wind noise isn't going through the microphone, but you can see this right here. Let's zoom out a little bit. This guy comes in 3 colors, the black, pink, and white. It's the Wiskin desk fan, battery operated. It's got base, just a ton of speeds. It's tilts like that, and then of course it charges. So up on top here we have the power and then speed up and down. So right now it's got a good breeze, but sometimes when I'm really rocking out, I'll get it up to 40, and it feels great. And the best part is I could probably have it sitting right here, and maybe you won't hear it. It's hard to tell because the AC just kicked in as well, so you might hear that little hum right there. Sorry about that. But the whole point is that you have that ability to have this just work and not have to plug it in anywhere. You can take this outside with you. If it's sweltering hot, at least you got something blowing your way, and it's super small. It's great. It's just great, and it's 27% off at $23.99. So lots of great reasons to get this guy. Mostly, once again, if you ever run into where you have a power outage and you have this, let's say you have this thing plugged in, USB-C, you have it plugged in, it's at 100%, power goes out for about an hour, at least you still have a fan that's working. So that's from Wiskin. Next up, now in English. Next thing up is this thing right here, the Astro AIC2 cordless tire inflator. I actually purchased this with my own money. Let's turn off the fan and get it out of the way. It does tell you the battery. It was not 99%. All right. Astro AI is a really cool device. I was going to find see if they had my, no. Hold on. There it is. So it's a 20 volt rechargeable, 2 batteries, 160 psi, 12 volt car power adapter. You plug it in. It can run wireless, but of course you can plug it into the car just in case the battery is dead. The whole point is that if you need to inflate your tires, this thing does just an amazing job. And it feels like, it feels like a screwdriver, or like a drill. So I'll put it on, and it has the locking mechanism in it. So I take off the tire cap, I put that on, I lock it down, and then I set the back part to like 35 psi. Let's see if I show you this on there. There we go. So you set it to like 35 psi, and then you hit the button. It's loud. It just like most of these other smaller devices, air inflator devices, but you can hold on to it, and then once it hits 35, it shuts off. Now, last year we got an EV, and the EV has tire sensors in it, and they were always going off. And I'd pull out the unit in the car, which was corded, and inflate the tires and put it back, wrap it up, put it back. And then like the next day, I was back at the same thing. With setting the PSI on this thing, I did it once, and I haven't touched the tires all year round. So probably come the fall when, air changes, they'll probably become a little deflated, and I'll probably have to reinflate them a little bit. But I'm not guessing as to what is at 35 psi. So those sensors will finally say, okay, that's there. We're good. We're good for a while. Because don't you hate it when that little light shows up on your car? I know I do. The light hasn't shown up for a while. I need to knock on wood here because just in case. But that's the whole cool thing about this. So the whole cool thing about this. Think about it. So anyway, 20% off, $52.79, comes in 4 different colors. But there are price differences for the colors. I just got the blue because I just needed something. It does have a light on it. So if you need to see what's going on, if you're doing more than just inflating a tire, maybe you're changing the spare and you need to inflate the spare, then you got some light to change the tire. So $52.79. And that cord, just the fact of not having that cord plugged into the utility lighter, cigarette lighter, whatever you want to call it, that just makes a world of difference, especially when it's like 20 below and you're trying to inflate a tire. If you've ever done that, raise your hand. Forgot to raise my hand. There we go. All right, so next up, we talked about that. We're almost done here. We're very close to the end, and I'm way over. This is the Tozo. I use these all the time. These are Tozo. They call them open ear ring, true open ear headphones. So what they are, simple headphones that look weird, but they just fit in your ear, like so. Let's see if I do that. Yep, almost. Kind of see it coming across. There we go. Let's I'll do that. There we are. Look at that. So it goes in the ear, but doesn't go all the way in the ear, so I can still hear things like cars passing by. So this is perfect for running because it's low profile, nothing hanging over the ears. It looks like an earring, and you can put in one, you can put in two. You take a phone call while you're going, and of course you're running, you're walking, you're whatever you're doing. You could have that in your ear, and nobody will notice that it's in your ear. They'll just think it's an earring. It's like this. The earring, the Tozo open ear ring comes in 3 different colors. This is the black is 58% off at $24.99. Excuse me. But you can get this more of a skin tone or a pink. Pink. These are $27.99 at 50% off. So still a great deal if you like pink over black, or you want to have more of a neutral color so people can't see it. Like for instance, when I'm on meeting calls or I'm doing podcasts or something like that, sometimes I don't want them to see what's on my ear. So something like that's perfect. So that's from Tozo, open ring ear. They have a lot of great headphones that you can check out over at the Tozo store as well if this does not tickle your fancy. And that was there. Let's move on. If you do any work on computers, on small devices, then this guy right here is a savior. The Oria small screwdriver set. I have right here. I got it in green, but you can also get it in like a red or a, let's see what else, a black or a blue. And it's got all these screws in here. I got some thermal paste in the case here. Let's go back over here. I'm gonna go here. There we go. There we are. All right, so Oria, open up the case like that. Flip it open. We got the small screwdriver right here. We've got the extension that's also bendable. So if you have to work around a corner, you can do that. Locks right into place. And then you have all these bits. Phillips heads, flat heads, specialty heads, star heads. In fact, I just did a review where they gave me a screwdriver in the unbox, and the screwdriver, which was a star hex head, didn't work on the screw. So I came to here and found it was like a T9 or something like that. Put it in here, opened it up, no problem. Closed it up, no problem. So if you do any type of tinkering, whether it be for computers, whether it be for watches, whether it be for whatever, this little guy, it's got so many different options for screwdrivers. They're magnetic too. And then even if you've got small like nuts, hex head nuts, you can use that side for that. But whatever the need, you've got it. Even if you have a phone that has the SIM card slot, and I have a few devices that take SIM cards, you need like a little pin to push it in to pull out the SIM card or reset a device. They've even got a small pin inside there to do that, which is really cool. 20% off. It's $11.19. It's great for having around the house in the toolbox. You know, if you've got friends going, they bought a new house and you give them a housewarming gift, something like this is perfect for that, or anything like that. having the small screwdrivers is great, and it's all contained in this nice little case with not with the thermal paste. That was just where I needed to put thermal paste. I don't know why I did that, but I did. That's my own addition. That's from Araya. All right, let's check some of the if there's any comments here. All right, nope, nothing yet. And of course, you can find everything, like I said, over at geekazine.com/shop/geekazine. I'm sorry, Amazon.com. Amazon.com/shop/geekazine. You can find that there. All right, next up, let's talk about this Anker Prime. This thing right here. This is amazing. I love this thing. Let's get it out in the middle here. So what this is a 250 watt GAN Prime USB charger. What that means is I can use this. Let's see if one of my videos are on here.
Do you know?
No, I don't. Let's turn down my volume. There we go. I think one of my videos are on here. It is not. I should see where that is. But the whole point is that I can plug in my MacBook Air. I can plug in a MacBook Pro. These things will charge these laptops. I won't have to pull out the charger. I won't have to pull out other cables. I can have this sitting on the desk. Get rid of that. There we go. I can have this sitting on the desk. There we go. I can have this sitting on the desk, ready to charge. In fact, I do. If I was, like I showed you, I had some Raspberry Pis close by. I was trying to figure out what was on them and get them ready to be used for something else. So I plugged them into here. Some have USB-C, some have micro USB. I have to find those. But we have 4 USB-C spots on front. Let's zoom in so you can see it. 4 on the front, 2 USB-As on the side, and then we have this little dial that can control everything. This hooks up to Wi-Fi, so I can control it through the app. I can smart control it. So let's say I have a couple laptops, and one of them absolutely needs to be charged as fast as possible. I can set the priority for each port. So if this laptop needs the priority, I can set the priority here. I can set it in AI mode, so it will see which one needs charging more and then set the priority that way. I can, on the app, I can just shut everything off. Let's say I drove away for the weekend and I just don't want anything powering up. Save myself some energy. So I just shut all these ports down and boom, they're shut down. Just like that. And then I can also control it through the crown. Okay, yeah, you can see that. So I can control each one through the crown to see what's going on. I can turn them on, I can turn them off, everything like that. Nothing's plugged in, so I don't have. There we go. I can turn the port on, but I'm not going to. There we go. So you have a lot of different options here with this, and you can plug in multiple things, up to 250 watts. So that means 2 laptops, possibly, to charge. A tablet to charge, a phone to charge, and then you're good to go. But you can charge so much more with this thing. So that is the Anker Prime charger. That is 250 watt GAN charger. That is 30% off at $118, and it's perfect because, like I said, less cable clutter on the desktop. I'm going to put it back to where it normally sits, because I don't have to pull it out anymore. But I use it to charge everything all the time. And I first reviewed that a little bit earlier this year, if I remember correct. And it's been sitting on my desk ever since. Next up, folks over at Peloton asked me to check out their Prime Day deals, so we are doing it. I don't have a Peloton here, but we've done several interviews and looked at Peloton bikes before. This is the Peloton indoor exercise bike and with Bike and Bike Plus. It's got the training options on there, the smart connection on there, so you can hook it up, watch movies, or get into a trainer system here. 20% off at $1,994.99. So if you're into biking and you just need to get more fit, you can grab one of these. And of course, it's got some great features to it. So a lot of adjustments for height and for level of riding. It's got this area back there so you can put in some dumbbells, so you can have some weight with you as you're biking. And of course, the screen. So like I said, you could have your workout buddy working with you, or you could just be watching a movie or anything like that. So 20% off from Peloton. Decent little bike right there. Let's go over to Red Dragon. And they've got a great macro keyboard at $40.99. I think that was, what was that? That was on Prime Day deal, but I'm not sure what the percentage off is. Sometimes they show it that way. So keyboard and mouse combo, you can get it in black, you can get it in white, a couple different versions. Red Dragon, this isn't the Red Dragon one. No, this is a different one. But I go through so many keyboards, it's crazy sometimes. But we had a Red Dragon in the shop, great solid keys that lasted me a good while. In fact, I think I typed it on it so much that I kind of rubbed the letters off. But it's got backlighting. Of course, you can adjust all the lighting. So if you're gaming or you're doing anything, then you can see. And I don't think I want a keyboard that cannot light up anymore, because I can see the keyboard better, and that makes my typing even better. So anyway, from Red Dragon, you can check that out right there. Next up, another thing for you, for anybody that needs anything for college, for power situations, the Kasa Smart Plug Power Strip. It's a surge protector, 6 individually controlled strips. I did a video on them at CES. So you should see it on my CES roll not from this year, but the year before. But the really cool thing about this is their control. You can control them through your phone, or you can control them through Alley. So you can say, Alley, turn off plug 3, or however you have it set. They're all independent control. So plug 3 can stay on, plug 4 can be turned off. The USB plugs can be turned off. I had one sitting above my refrigerator, so I could turn things on and off at ease because, usually the refrigerator is sitting, or the plug is sitting right behind the refrigerator. So I had this up on top of the refrigerator so I could plug in things. I had a USB plug so I could plug in my security camera in the kitchen. And then I was able to use this and turn it on and off if I needed to. And that's the best part, especially early on when you had these security cameras. They'd always go on some weird blink thing. And all you had to do was unplug them and plug them back in. Well, I could have just said, Alley, turn off plug 3, and it turns it off. Alley, turn on plug 3, turns it back on. I've recycled it. And then it goes back to normal, and then I can continue on. So lots of great stuff right there. That's from Kasa, the Kasa Smart Plug. That's 50% off at $39.99 right now. So where are we? We are there. Let's see if there's any questions really quick. I'm almost to 1,000 on these hearts. Upstairs, when I go to vacuum, I vacuum with the Dream. I have an older version of this same model. This newer model has a really cool feature where the sidearm, the little spinning brush, actually has a little arm that pulls out a little bit more. So I'm kind of excited about that. I got to talk to Dream about this. This is the L40 Ultra Robot Vacuum with removable and liftable mop. So that means if you're on carpet, it'll lift up so it doesn't get your carpet wet. It's got the 11,000 PA suction. It's got the most important thing, and that is the bin to collect what it just vacuumed up. So every 3-6 months you replace that, clean it out, put in a new bag, you're good to go. And then you can set this on the schedule so it can go out and vacuum whenever, or you can, I manually turn it on. because I always have to walk around and pick up cables and cat toys and all that other stuff. So 27% off at $1,099.99. Great deal. And it's a great vacuum to have because it maps out the floor and then it runs through a schedule. And I even confused it one time because I moved the living room around. And it got confused for a second, but then it goes, oh, you changed everything out. Good job. Touche. And then started cleaning again. So, amazing little guy right there. That saves me a whole bunch of time in trying to clean the house. So, next up, our friends over at Hohem have the iSteady X3. I forgot to grab my iSteady X3, so we'll just do this. This is the newer model. These phone camera stabilizer cameras are just amazing, and you add it with like a 16 Pro Max, and you see absolutely no shake on the camera, and that's what I love about this. So, and plus they have some interesting features that'll do weird things. So, like let's say I want to look like I'm spinning around in a barrel or something like that. You just use the feature and it will do that. So it's got some automation to it, which is great. It's got a detachable Bluetooth joystick, which is new, which I really like that idea because it allows you to have somebody else control that while all you're doing is keeping the camera steady on whatever you're doing. Maybe you're recording your friend's band. Maybe you're recording a presentation, or you're just out and you're getting some really good shots of whatever. We were on kayaks this morning. I should have grabbed it because it would have been nice to have stabilization while I was trying to record some shots of the water because the steam was coming off, the fog was coming off the water in certain spots. It was just awesome. Love going kayaking in the morning. So anyway, it's collapsible, foldable, plugs up via USB to charge. There is a battery inside. Battery, I believe, will run for about an hour. Works perfect with the iPhone series and, of course, Samsung series. Easy peasy. Sometimes you might have to do some calibration on it. It's nothing difficult by any means. So the iSteady X3 is what we're talking about, 20% off at $51.99. They also have the SE Plus, which is $63.98, which basically has the extension rod. You see that extend out like that? I don't think the X3 has that option. So if you want that, that's 20% off as well at $63.98. And I might have a couple other features. That was the one that just, of course, I could see. Let's move on. Eufy. At the old house, I had a front door and a back door, so I had two of these cameras. These were great, still great. Got the other one in the front door. This is the doorbell camera, and what it does is, we'll zoom out. Just like any other doorbell camera, somebody comes up, hits the button, ding dong, your phone goes off, blah blah blah. You look in the camera and go, oh, it's Joe, or it's the delivery guy. Or it's some weird guy, I have no idea. But through this camera down here, I can see his legs. And I know he doesn't have a machete, so okay, I'll answer the door. Or the delivery guy shows up with a package. This thing has detection for packages for people, for animals. So they set down the package. This sees it, says, hey, you got a package at your front door. And then, okay, I'll pick it up in about 10 minutes. And all of a sudden, you get a notification that says, hey, your package is gone. It's like, what? Well, let's go and review the footage on this camera and see what's going on. And you find out somebody's been taking your packages. Or it's still there. It just moved because a squirrel came by or something like that. But the whole point is that you have two cameras to see what's going on. And this has become very useful in a lot of situations. So I love this one. Like I said, the other one's sitting on the front door right now. And when somebody rings the bell, I can even dismantle the old doorbell system, the old ding dong. So I don't have that going through the house. They push the button. I get notified on the phone. I get notified on my watch that somebody's at the front door. It can run off of batteries, Or of course you can wire it into the house if you have a doorbell system on your house. It can also, it's got a battery inside, so you can charge it up right here. And I don't know if the newer ones have USB-C, but this one's, I believe, is USB, micro USB right here. And yeah, and it's even got a little clip on here so you can attach that to the wall, and then you clip this in, and then there's a special key that will open this up so you can pop this out. And I don't know where that key is. I'm going to have to find it if I ever need to pop that out. But the whole point is that this is extra security because it sees through 2 cameras. And the other cool thing about this, this is 37% off at $94.99. The other cool thing about this is if you also buy it with this security home base, there's the security camera, by the way. But if you buy it with this home base for 20% off at $119.98, this home base will record everything in this camera. So this camera will work. It works on its own Wi-Fi system. So it detects the camera, and then any event goes from the camera to the base station. The base station has storage in there, up to 16 terabytes worth of storage in there. This is the device. I can't show you the device because it's hooked up over there, but this is the device right here. You can pop the top off, and you can put different storage in there, up to 16 terabytes. Runs off of 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, and of course this has to be plugged in. It doesn't have Wi-Fi to your router. You're going to have to plug this in physically through an Ethernet cable into your router. But you'd want that. You want to have that extra security, because you hear so many situations of somebody having a doorbell camera, and the first thing that the bad person does is rip it out or block it up, and you know, they'll rip it out and run away with it thinking, oh, all that recorded content is on here. No, it's not on here. It's on there. And that's deep in the house, and nothing you can do about that. And the cool thing about this system is, and I just grabbed the other, I don't know where I put it, but Eufy has several different security cameras. I have a couple set up in the garage and outside, indoor, outdoor cameras. So you can have them all going to that same base station, watching, recording, and letting you know. So you don't need a subscription for that, which is great. And then you can still access the events from your phone. That is 20% off, like I said, at $119. And I think that takes us to here. We're here. Mind's Eye said afternoon. Thank you very much for coming over at Mind's Eye. If there's anything that you want me to look at, let me know. Mind's Eye goes $50. Not a bad price. New studio is looking good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mind's Eye. So, and of course we'll check over here. We just had Computer Pal. So thank you very much, Computer Pal. I think I'm just going to get up to 700 hearts here. I'll just keep clicking until it's done. There we go. All right. There we are. And that takes us to here. Of course, you know, if you want to support Geekazine, we have the Before You Geek Out coffee. And somebody clicked on that. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate you supporting the channel. And of course, you can support the channel simply by going over to amazon.com/shop/Geekazine. There we go. And then coming down here, Prime Day 2025, the merch is right here. And then some of the videos and reviews that I've had through the past. We've got some upcoming reviews, like we just did the Roku camera. That's this thing right here. Boom. Right there. We did the Xbot Go stuff. This was the Fender. We reviewed some software, and of course we got the Fender I/O, so we could hook up our guitar to our phones, which is cool. Smart Shade, which is up in the bedroom, and we're using it religiously, and a lot more. So you can check that out here. Oh yeah, the Plod Note. This is another device, and I got it right here. This is an AI device that allows you to record, and it'll take the recordings and then it'll AI transcribe them or summarize them or whatever, and it just attaches to the back of your phone, boom, like that. And of course, I don't think that's on Prime Deal, but it's a great little device. We're going to have a review coming out very, very soon. You can check that out all out over at Geekazine. So, but that does it for me for now. I'll be back on a little bit later, a couple unboxings. I hope this helps you with your Prime Day deals. And of course, thank you very much for helping me keep the lights on, because I need to keep my lights on. If you want me to keep doing content, help me, help you. That's how that works. So, all right, we're at almost 800. Oh, we'll stop at 800. But anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, you guys geek out, and we'll see you on a little bit later.